Hi guys, Bomber here. Welcome back to the channel, and yeah, you read the title. Patch 2.9 sucks, is trash, whatever you want to call it. I will join all the rant that is going on right now in the community of Legends of Runeterra. A bit late, but still I wanted to say my opinion on the matter. So first of all, for anyone which is new to what happened, I will let you guys see the patch notes. The problem right now is very I want to go into reading all the stuff that I said, but the problem right now is very present. Like we see basically all Azir area. Trash Nasus is still a thing. We still have Easy Draven for I don't know 1 year. Trash Nasus also is OP since it was I don't know 2 months. It was a bit slow to figure out that deck was OP, but now it is, and it has been for quite a while. And now we have the new thing, which is Azir era, which is completely dominating the meta. Not only it is very strong, I don't know 56% win rate the last time I checked, after Platinum. So we're talking about high level play, not like Iron or Bronze or whatever. But also it has a play rate of something like 20%. And when all the and it still has a 56% win rate. You have to understand that if all the players went to play the same deck, so the more it reaches towards 100% play rate, then the win rate would go to 50%, because if everyone is playing the same deck, I'm playing A, you play B, which is still but from a different person, you either win or you lose, so that's 50% win rate. It is still at 56% win rate, even though 20% of the matches are mirror matches, which is insane. And so not only that, the win rate is way off, but the play rate, it is not fun to play a game where, every 1 in 5 games you are playing the mirror match, or you're playing the deck that everyone is hating right now. So yeah, the problem is very present. They did say some time ago in a Reddit post some time ago that they didn't really dislike the fact that Zeralia is so bad. They said it was actually pretty fun, and don't get me wrong, I agree that this new mechanic of having Irelia swap and stuff, blade dancing, attacking like crazy, it's fun, it's definitely fun. But it is not balanced right now, in my opinion, and everyone, as a matter of fact, because that is not balanced, they are playing it. And so yeah, that is no fun anymore if all the game is about that zero area, or most of it. And so yeah, with all those problems in mind, and still they addressed it a bit, just saying, no, you're saying everything is wrong, whatever you're saying is wrong, the metagame seems pretty healthy, a zero area is not a problem, whatever. They went for the card updates, and we got a Talia update, a buff from Talia, a +1/+1. I will go into details on why those changes are completely wrong, in my opinion, and probably I'm trying to be not subjective, but objective about this fact. Then Malphite from 12 plus Man of Landmarks into just 10. Then we have Blossoming Blade going from 4 cost to 5, and the base stats from 3/3 to 4/3 to compensate, I guess. And then Inspiring Marshal from cost 5 to 6, and the base stats also nerfed to from 4/6 to 4/5. So and that's it. We just got 4 changes, and they think that these should solve things. So why those changes are wrong? First of all, the buffs. You can't really go wrong when you go into buffs, because if a card is not being played all that much, or it has not a consistent win rate, then sure, you can buff it. But why those buffs? Even the buffs, which you can't go wrong if the card is not played and it is, not competitive, those buffs don't really mean a thing. Like Talia, the good thing about Talia is that she summons, she copies a landmark, so currently she lacks really that landmark that you want to copy. You're not really getting all that much value from the first time that you play Talia. And also, as it is, you really don't want to play a 5-mana 2/4 or 3/5. You're just playing Talia for the summon and exact copy of an allied landmark. And you kind of want to play Talia as a body, as a stat line, when she's already leveled up, so that she can basically deal 6 quick attack damage, and maybe if she has overwhelm, she can also go through. So yeah. you just want to basically play Talia leveled up, otherwise she really sucks onto the board. And when she is leveled up, the stats most of the times don't really matter all that much, because most of the times you're attacking with Talia, you're dealing 6 damage, and something that, I don't know, survives the 6 damage, which is pretty rare, but even if it does, then this means that it is probably, I don't know, an 8-8 or a 10-10, and so giving it plus 1 health to Talia doesn't really matter all that much, so an increase in health doesn't really matter. It could be, the only thing that this could be better for Talia is that she's a better blocker right now. That's the only thing. But you know, like, of course, I can't really complain, but I'm just saying that Talia, the stats don't really matter, considering the effect that she has. She basically bypasses her stats by just dealing 6 damage to the blocker. That's her stats, if you want to say that. So, okay, but still a buff, so maybe Talia will be a bit more consistent right now, who knows. Then Malphite, of course, most of the problem of Malphite is that, again, there are not so many landmarks in the game right now, and maybe this is also a problem which we are going to address later on. Like, they are doing these mini sets, basically. They changed how they drop cards, and don't get me wrong, I think that this is quite new and also quite interesting, I would say. But then if you want to go for something like this, you have to be how can I say it, you have to be mindful that if a card or a set of cards really needs landmarks, you have to be like you have to go all in into that team. Like, if you release 2 champions which have landmark as synergies, you can't really release Talia in the first expansion where we only got, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 landmarks, and most of them sucked. Then you go also on the second expansion with Malphite, which needs landmarks, and a few more have popped out, but they don't really work. So, like, if they are holding onto a landmark that enables basically Talia and Malphite, then you should have printed that card in the first expansion ever, so that Talia and Malphite actually made sense. Because as it is right now, like, it doesn't really matter if you release to me 2 champions in 2 different expansions, and they still need that key card that you're holding on to. So either in this scenario you're doing something wrong, because you have to release that landmark as the first expansion when you want to push the landmark archetype or whatever, or either you don't have this landmark that you want to print. So what do? You can buff existing landmarks that you already released, and they were meant to enable this Talia and Malphite archetype. So instead of buffing Talia and Malphite, which is not really the problem, Talia and Malphite, as I say, that giving +1/+1 to Talia, or making Malphite a bit easier to level up when he's already kind of difficult to level up without the landmarks that you want to play, because the landmarks are weak. So you see the problem here. If you want to buff Talia and Malphite, since they are okay with them, but they don't have landmarks, or good ones, then buff the landmarks if you want to buff Talia or Malphite. So that's the first problem I see. Then on to the nerfs. Like, wow, guys. First of all, I don't want to trash talk all that much, but it seems a bit like an hypocritical, how do you call it? Like, you say one thing and then you do another. I don't know the word, but like, yeah, you first of all say that Azir Aurelia is not a problem, you like the play patterns or whatever, but then you still hit the only deck that runs those 2 cards, which is Azir Aurelia, and you nerf those 2 cards. So something is wrong, first of all. But then, like, why those 2 cards? I mean, okay, I could get Inspiring Marshal. Inspiring Marshal is definitely a key card, a strong card in that archetype that basically enables it, at least, you know, the higher curve is basically won by Inspiring Marshal. But then, like, Blossoming Blade, like, if you want to nerf Azir Aurelia, then nerf Flawless Duet. Like, Flawless Duet not only gives you 2/2 in stats for just 1 mana, but also free attack for 1 mana only. That's crazy. With all the synergies that we have with free attacks and stuff, Azir, Emperor Days, if you don't want to nerf them, at least nerf Flawless Duet. Because, you know, I saw a lot of people complain about Emperor Diaz. Make Emperor Diaz 3 mana and solve everything. This is not really accurate, because then playing Emperor Diaz is basically a far worse version than Azir, because, you know, you're getting a 1/5 body on top of the Emperor Dice effect, and also a level up possibility, so the Emperor Dice becomes trash if you nerf it to 3 mana. But not only that, like, the other argument that I will say is that we had Azir Lucen before that, and it was fine. It was fine. The problem right now, it is the blade dances that, and how reliably and cheaply you can get those blade dances. So that's the problem. And the main culprit of that is Irelia, sorry, with the Flawless Duet in particular. Nerf the Flawless Duet to 2 mana at least. I get a free attack, but at least it costs twice as much as now, to 2 mana. Or, you know, if you want to nerf the other blade dance cards, for example, I can't remember the name, but the 2 mana 2/1, that's the cheapest one. Nerf that one to 3 mana and maybe a 3/2 in stats lane. That's fine. The only problem with those cards is that they are too cheap to still give you the free attack option. That's basically wrong. And yeah, so nerfing Blossoming Blade is the least useful card to that deck. Probably now you will cut Blossoming Blade, because at this point you're probably better playing the 7 mana spell from Irelia. That's probably more cost efficient for what you're getting off of it, or maybe you will just cut it all together, and maybe you will include something else. So now this is still a nerf, because you are removing a bit of consistency from the deck by basically making a card close to unplayable, or really much worse than it was. And that's fine, but it is the wrong culprit of that. Blossoming Blade was fine, and probably also one of the least powerful cards into that deck. Then on to Inspiring Marshal. Inspiring Marshal, again, it was a bit of a problem. I also thought about nerfing it, and this is probably fine. I'm fine with this change, but I feel like Inspiring Marshal could be so much more. Like, we saw, again, in Azir Lucen, Inspiring Marshal was still fine. So, again, the problem here is not Inspiring Marshal or Blossoming Blade, it is the new Irelia. That's obvious to me. And then why, like really, guys, nerfing Flawless Duet would have done everything. But yeah, they went into that road. I can't complain. Maybe these would have, how can I say it, reduced the design possibility in the future. You can't really go crazy wide while Inspiring Marshal is a thing, or at least now it is more expensive to do so. So yeah, maybe it is still right, but probably at the wrong time. Like, if we saw in the future that, again, Inspiring Marshal was a problem because you can't really enable a wide archetype without them being OP, since Inspiring Marshal is a thing, then okay, I could have seen that in the future. But right now, again, for example, we still have Voice of the Reason, which, again, is probably an underrated card. If I was an Azir Aurelia main, I would cut Inspiring Marshal for a Voice of the Reason right now. So yeah, those are the problems. Now we lead into a bit of hope, because they recently, 12 hours ago, released a post in Reddit. I will go through it a bit, very quickly. So it is Dova JDs, which is one of the 3 only person that are working at the live design, the live balance of Legends of Runeterra. And here, as a passionate of game design, and maybe I could call myself a designer of my own, of myself, and so that is a very passionate argument for me. So yeah, we hear you updates to live cards and the future. So hi everyone, Dovajid is here with some news on card updates in Legends of Runeterra. TLDR, more updates are coming in patch 2.11. So okay, I guess we'll wait for 2 patches, so that's in 1 month when they will release the new expansion. I probably won't read through all of it. If you want, you can read it. I'll probably leave it down below in the description so that you can read it by yourself. But yeah, so they're basically saying that they heard all the uproar that the last change, the balance change they made affected the community of Legends of Runeterra, and they will in fact go for more live updates like they did in the past. And that I remember there was also, let me see if I can get it back. There was also a post about why did I change other CCGs. Yeah, here it is. Why I moved from another CCGs to lore, and the metas that get sold way too fast. Like that was one of their key selling points, you could say, and that is no more a thing. Like the meta has been sold for again like 3 months at least, and some other decks are here in the meta for like 1 year or more. Like they recently changed the Fiora Shen, for example, which was one of the staple. Now that archetype is dead, and they also changed probably that was the only one. Oh, and Twisted Fate, yeah, that patch was in fact quite good. But then we have some other problems like Easy Draven, as I said before, Thresh Nasus, this is the newest one, and Azira Rayla, which definitely got printed way stronger than they expected. I'm guessing, like if they released it knowing that it would be so strong and didn't address it, they're crazy. But so yeah, now we have a bit of hope into the future. They will do more live updates, and a bit of so yeah, on Blade Dance, Power, Fun, and Frustration, like the. They say that it curves out to when it curves out well enough, it is basically unbeatable. Organic metagame development versus keeping things fresh, so that like they enjoy still seeing the metagame develop naturally without affecting it directly with changes or new cards released, and that's fine. But keeping things fresh is one of the best selling points that they had. Like really, since you are in digital and you can really do whatever you want, like. So two arguments. The first of all is that Legends of Runeterra is definitely free to play. Like I could still see some other games like I don't know MTGA or Hearthstone, for example, where like they are still digital, so they could indeed do whatever changes they want. But then there is a problem there because. Hearthstone is much more expensive than Legends of Runeterra, as well as MTGA. It is much more expensive than Legends of Runeterra. So, like, if you change some cards, especially nerfs, if you nerf the most win rate or whatever cards, and people spend money to have them, a lot of them, then people could be frustrated because I won't then spend money in the game if you continue to change what I spent money for and making it useless. It's as if like I will give you a $100 card, but then like in maybe 1 week it is worth $1 because I changed it and now it is useless. So that obviously leads to some frustration, and so they adopted some features to do that. So for example, Hearthstone has a way to disenchant. Recently changed the cards so that you don't really feel so much frustrated. At least you're getting everything back if you want to discard the card, basically. MTGA probably doesn't have that thing either, so yeah, that's pretty bad. But then again, like they won't really, since it is so expensive, the game itself, they don't really want to change cards, especially Hearthstone, or at least when I played it, and probably still now, they don't really want to change it because then you are giving free stuff to players and you are hurting your business. While I don't understand that you're hurting the game if the game sucks and the meta game is trash, but whatever. This is a rant about Legends of Runeterra. I want to rant about also Hearthstone. But so yeah, those are not problems in Legends of Runeterra because still, okay, you can spend the money to earn the cards, but it is so easy to still get all the cards in the game without spending a cent, really. You can craft literally a top tier deck like in the first day, probably, at least for sure after the first week, and after a month you can already have a plethora of meta decks, so that's very, very free to play friendly. And so with games such like these, you can really do whatever you want to the cards because they are so easily so easy to get that really people can't complain about their just newfound card being nerfed. And probably also like you can compensate it by also making cards that you opened that they were so strong, you buffed them, so now they are compensating the bad feeling of a card that I owned being nerfed, and so if I didn't have it or if I didn't spend money on that. But on the other hand, you are also buffing more useless card, and so you are compensating the negative feeling with a positive feeling that I had something that it wasn't worth much and now it is worth something. So you can do whatever you want with such a free-to-play friendly game, which focuses more their business on cosmetics, skins, which is something completely amazing that I completely agree on too. In fact, in League of Legends also they did pretty good, and I hope I don't know how much money they're making, but I guess that a lot of money they're making since the game is so popular with Legends of Runeterra too. So like yeah, you're not fully. With all those premises, like it would be obvious that you have a lever which is so strong about the changing cards pretty much freely. Like, you can at least do 10 balance changes every 2 weeks. Buffing, especially buffing cards that are not used so much. For example, like I do collaboration with Legends of Runeterra guys, if you didn't see any videos of him, but I dubbed it. And so, like, I propose something like, I don't know, make Out of the Way better. So maybe we will see a new archetype of permanent buffs, and that seems pretty interesting and fun to play with. Let's do it. Why not? Or, buff Heimerdinger or Katarina. Like, those champions have been forgotten. Katarina never saw play, for what I know. Heimerdinger was so play, but, because they didn't expect some combinations to happen. For example, the Heimer Karma, which we all hated, but now it's gone. And so, you can buff Heimerdinger back. So, like, for example, I proposed that when he levels up, which is kind of trash, the level up of Heimerdinger, honestly, maybe check share keywords, or I don't know, reduce the mana cost by 1, since we have so many other champions that are a value generation tool that cost less than Heimerdinger. Or maybe increase his health by 1, so that it is no more affected by Get Excited or Nox and Fervor, increasing its durability. Do whatever, like, really, man, like, you can do whatever you want. Like, let's try out stuff. At least, as they're saying, they are keeping things fresh. That's the most optimal thing about a card game. So, like, the game right now is stale, and it has been stale for quite a while. So I don't see any counter argument to the fact that you shouldn't try to make the things more fresh than they are. Like really, there is nothing really. Why not making things fresher? I don't see any argument against that. The fresher the things, the better it is. Like, nobody wants to play a game that is always the same thing. Or at least, like, I guess it could sound wrong from a guy which also plays chess, and chess has been probably, like, the same thing over and over for 1,000 years, but that's a different type of game. In card games, you have a lot of variety, a lot of cards, so, like, change, keeping things fresh should be the keywords in a game such like that, so that you want every week or so you want innovation, keeping things fresh in the game. That's what the card games are all about. Otherwise, it just really becomes a matter of throwing dice over and over and seeing which one gets the higher value. Instead, like, if you added the component about building a deck, crafting it, or even if you are meta decking it, at least playing with different decks here and there, having a lot of variety, trying things out, like adjusting your decks for the meta that evolves while you are trying new combinations, that's fantastic. Instead, if you have 5 decks in the game over and over, they are already perfectioned, because you have so much time to perfection them, and yeah, the game is always the same. It becomes like chess, but on a game which could be so much more. And so, yeah, guys, with all that said, probably this is also an update video on, you may be seeing that I'm releasing quite a fewer amount of videos recently, and to be honest, it is just because I'm really not having fun anymore with the game, or at least currently. So I really hope that in the patch 2.11 they are going to, revamp heavily the game, at least this balance patch live thing or whatever. I hope really that they are going to shake things up. Currently, as I said, I really don't enjoy playing the game. I do have this YouTube channel for fun, basically, because if you saw how much money I'm making as a 1K YouTuber, you know that I don't make a lot of money from this. And so, like, there should be no reason why I would have to continue playing a game which I don't have fun anymore with. And also, I'm not making any money from it. There is no reason. I always did this channel because I had fun with the game, and I wanted to share with you guys the knowledge and the skill that I may have as a pro player. But since I'm not having fun anymore in the game, and I'm not taking anything in return, I don't see why I should continue. Again, if you want to support me, there is the Patreon and stuff. But really, this is not a matter of I'm asking for your help. Since the channel didn't blow up previously, there is no reason that it should be right now. So with that said, again, this is nothing final. I will announce it properly if I will stop making videos about Legends of Runeterra. For now, I can say that while I'm waiting for patch 2.11, this is basically an ultimatum. I will try to play, I don't know, maybe I can change the content, play, for example, Lab of Legends, which is still quite fun. At least that in there is a lot of variety, so that's a thing. And so yeah, while we are waiting for patch 2.11, we will see if I will refound the fun in playing the game. Then maybe we will have more content. But as it is, like really, I'm so dissatisfied by the game, and I'm also kind of ashamed at how they ruined a game that, in my opinion, is still the best card game out there, and it would be a shame if they ruined that. So yeah, guys, I guess that was a long video, a longer rant video. If you are still here, please consider, if you are new, also consider subscribing, activating the notification bell, entering the Discord server where we can chat about this thing together, or also write down in the comments what you think about this. Whatever. I'm very open to every feedback that you may have, and so yeah, guys, that's it for this video. Hope you like it and find it useful, and as always, see ya.